Hey Ryan, a lot of talk this week from your O line and running backs about their conviction to be better in short yardage situations this season. Did you also do any re-examination in the offseason from a play calling standpoint, how you might approach some of those situations differently going forward? And if so, what did you learn?
Yeah, every year we do a study on all of our plays and our situational things, and then also we go across college football and then the NFL and figure out what other teams are doing and see always if it's a schematic thing that we need to improve on, a coaching thing that we need to improve on, or a personnel thing that we need to improve on. So you just go about the business of trying to identify that and make the adjustments that are appropriate.
All righty, we'll go next to Clay Hall, ABC 6.
Coach, how key is this matchup, your O-line against their D-line? You talked about Isaiah Foskey being a first-rounder, and one of the guys up there apparently in very colorful language, Jason Amendola, talked about how good Notre Dame is in that defensive pitch, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle for both sides of the ball. It's going to be a battle on the perimeter. It's going to be that way across the board. And so, yeah, I mean, we have to, be the tougher team. And, we know that that's going to be that way. That's the way that they've always played at Notre Dame, and that's the way that they're going to continue to play. So, any game is won and lost up front, and this game's going to be no different.
Thanks.
All righty, next we'll go to Austin Ward. Austin, go ahead.
Ryan, I assume that we're going to get availability reports like we have the last couple of years, but from a big picture perspective, how do you feel about the health of your team coming out of camp, and how does that compare to maybe some other years after banging against each other for an entire month?
Yeah, I mean, that's the balance that you try to find is, how do you make your team tougher and more physical and calloused and just, hard, but then also making sure that they're healthy and ready to go in this first game. I think we struck that balance, and we'll get that availability report here out. But that balance has been good. I think when you see it, it's exciting to know that we're at full strength.
All righty, next up, Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Hi, Ryan. This is kind of an unusual question, I think, but it's something I thought about going into a first game as opposed to a fifth or sixth game in a season when you're looking at tendencies and you have people on your staff who break down offensively where your tendencies might be on third and short or, first and, my point is, how do you do that in a first game? Avoiding getting into tendencies, understanding that it's a new team, new offense, new personnel. How do you avoid getting into habits per se?
Yeah, well, I think when you're dealing with a first game, there's just a lot of changes that are made, and what you're doing, what they're doing, and you have to try to have a contingency plan in place for what's going on. And certainly when you have a new team and a new defense or a new offense or new special teams, you have to do the things that fit their skill set. And every year, we have to do something different. And that's for everybody in the country. So, yeah, these first games are a little bit funky that way on both sides of the ball.
All righty, we'll go next to Dan Hope from 11.
Hey, Ryan, Ohio State just put out a video today of CJ Stroud, giving the entire team, gift cards to buy suits. I know you've talked a lot about, how CJ stepped up as a leader this offseason. Are those the kind of things you've seen from him with, taking an interest in, helping his team not only on the field but off the field?
Well, I've just been impressed, like you're saying, with his approach, his maturity. And, that's just an example of something that he wanted to do. I mean, nobody asked him to do that. And he kind of surprised me with it. And but I think that that's the brotherhood, and that's what it's all about. You don't typically come to Ohio State because of the guys on the team. A lot of times you don't really even know who the guys are on the team when you're here. But then once you're here, the reason you play so hard, what motivates you are your teammates. And I think that just goes to show you, in a short period of time, how close this team's become, and CJ has really become a leader.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now and S.
Ryan, I wanted to ask you about the guys that are in their second year in the program. Just in general, I would imagine that the first year to second year jump is probably one where you see a lot of not only physical maturity, but maturity off the field, the way they approach their craft, watch film, maybe the way guys practice harder. Who in that group, guys that went from year one to year two, have stood out most to you in the way that they seem to be taking that next step?
I think there's a lot of them because a lot of those guys played last year, and that was unique. And so I think when you look at a lot of our second year guys, I mean, across the board on defense, when you look at the guys up front, when you look at the guys in the back end, when you look at our receivers, when you look at, there's a lot of those guys in that sophomore class who are playing for us. And, I feel like even probably, 5 to 10 years ago, if you had a lot of sophomores playing, you're like, man, this is a young team, and I guess young is all relative in terms of experience because these guys have played. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do last year was get experience under our belt. So I can't sit here and tell you there's one guy, but I can tell you that, for a lot of those guys who came in at mid-year and then have now been in the program here for a full year and now going on year two, there's been a lot of improvement across the board.
All right, go next to Tim May from Leonard Monroe.
You hope to get one of those extra gift cards. But Ryan, you mentioned this a while ago in your show, and it seems like fans across Buckeye Nation are excited about seeing this defense play too. What is going to be the tip-off to you that this defense is really rocking and rolling? Besides the obvious, are they keeping the team out of the end zone and basically limiting yardage? What's going to be the telltale sign that this is in fact was the right move?
Yeah, well, I think time will tell, but it's been great to see in the scrimmages just how they've operated, some of the things that they've done, but it's the communication. It's, understanding, how a team's trying to attack them, winning the line of scrimmage, getting off the field on third down, doing a great job in the red zone. And I think, again, time will tell. I can't sit here and tell you there's one thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long game on Saturday night. It's going to be a long season. So, we'll just try to continue to get better the best we can. But, it's time to go play and kind of see where we're at and start to figure out, in game, what adjustments need to be made.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Tony Girdham and Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, what would a successful running game look like for you on Saturday?
No expectations in terms of, yardage or anything like that. I mean, the first goal that we want to have is to win the game. And I think that's what, you're hearing our guys on offense talk about. It isn't about the yards. It isn't about the points, about winning the game. And a big part of running the ball is controlling the clock. And I think that's something that we want to do. I think, finding a balance is going to be very, very important. But when you run the ball and you control the game, your chances of winning go way up. Taking care of the ball security is going to be very important in this game. So, we're going to focus on that and kind of come up for air when we get done with the game and figure out where we're at and reevaluate it from there. But I like the plan we have going in. I like the work that guys have had going in. But now we got a top 5 team in the country that we got to play against, and so it's a big challenge right out of the gate.
All righty, we're down to our last two. First one is Joey Kaufman, Columbus District.
Ryan, have you heard or gotten any word on Parker Lewis's status and just eligibility issue?
Yeah, there's no update there right now.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Ryan. These marquee non-conference games have not gone particularly well for Ohio State lately. Obviously, Oregon last year. Is that something that you've talked about? Obviously, the inexperience of those teams I'm sure has played a major role. Is that something you've discussed, and how better equipped do you think for this year?
No, I haven't really talked about that at all. It's just been about this team, and it's about Notre Dame and Ohio State, and we're playing a game on Saturday night, and the best team's going to win. So hadn't really thought or talked about that at all. We need to do a great job of, understanding that this is a big game and playing with emotion, not letting emotion play with us, and being able to, play with great physicality, but also understand that, we have to have poise and be able to focus and avoid distractions going into the game. So, we know when this one's coming for a long time. This has been a huge build-up, and we're obviously excited for this one.
All righty, Coach. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you Saturday night.
Okay, guys. Thanks.